Hey guys, Near Mint Nerd here. Thought I would put together a real quick haul, short notice. Didn't really plan for it, but I'm like, I got 5 minutes worth of free time, so let's get it done. So, not going to ramble on too much. Coming towards the end of the summer, got some pickups from the Toronto Comic Show and the Fan Expo, and a couple of private sales. And man, I got about 6-7 long boxes in the last few months, so lots to go through. Today, we're just going to go through a few, kind of just, shaking off the dust a little bit, and we're going to get back into this thing. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you, if you like it, tell me. Leave a question, leave a comment, hit like. Going to try to get the subscribers up to 500, if we can. If we can't, I'm completely satisfied with where we're at. Here we go. Hey guys, so I'm not putting these books in any particular order today. Just gonna kind of smash them into the screen here and talk a little bit about them. There's no order. Usually I like to have some kind of loose theme, but this week's theme is no theme. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. If you don't, there's a lot of people out there who do better videos than me, so you'll definitely have something to enjoy this week. It's early here in Toronto, so I'm having my coffee. So, let's start with Daredevil 160. It's just an old early appearance of Bullseye. This is from the Frank Miller run. You can see strangling Black Widow with a hairdryer. Nice little book. Newsstand. I think this is just, 1979? So this is the cusp of newsstand. So, switching to direct market. So I actually I'm not sure if there is even a direct market version of this book, because 1979 is the year that the direct market started to put the, little pictures in the box there. Actually, what they did was they just put a black line through it, like a marker line, to denote that it was direct market. They hadn't thought of putting the little pictures there yet. That would come later, and that's your history lesson for today. So let's keep it moving. I know, I like to talk. It's terrible. There's a nice book. Firestorm, the Nuclear Man, #1. This is the first appearance of Firestorm. I got this, I think, at an online auction for $4 or $5. It was, it was in kind of rough condition. I actually got a comic press recently. So I've been experimenting with the comic press. And it cleaned this book up a lot. This is never going to be a 9.8 or a 9.4 even. But it probably went from being about a 4.5 to maybe like a 7, 6.57. So I'm kind of sold on the whole comic press thing. It makes me nervous because I feel like, is it one of those things that in the future they're suddenly going to say that's restoration, and then there'll be a way to tell if everybody's pressed their comics and all those comics are suddenly getting like a color label that CGC. I don't CGC, so it's not a big deal for me. But, I've always resisted comic pressing for that very reason, that it didn't feel like the comic was in its perfect natural state. But, it seems like it's a technology that people are accepting. So I've decided to try it. And I gotta say, I really dig the results. This is what happens when you don't plan, guys. Let's see. So we got Justice League of America. I'm not quite sure which number this is. As you can see, the number's cut off. 1, 2, something. Probably 120. Oh, I'm just guessing. I have a 1 in 10 chance of getting it right. So let's go right in the middle. 125. I don't think it is, but it's definitely between 120 and 129. This is just an awesome white cover. I love white covers, especially 25-cent issues that just manage to stay white, stay clean. Love this Hawkman holding Wonder Woman's body. I love this era. I love Elongated Man. You know, I love the stretchy characters. I love Plastic Man too. I love Mr. Fantastic. I don't know what it is about the rubber characters, but I've always kind of had an affinity for them. Yeah, not much else to say about this one. Just a nice, cool cover. I did like the era when they would put the lineup of the team at the top. That always kind of did it for me. Love that book. Nice little old Hulk here, 25-cent issue, 192. Love these early Bronze Age comics. The Lurker Beneath Lock Fear. Nothing inherently special about this other than it's a 25-cent issue of the Hulk that is in shockingly great condition. Near mint it is not, but I would absolutely give that an 8, maybe even an 8.5. And, you know, because I found it in a dollar bin, it makes it all the sweeter. I mean, this isn't going to put my kids through college or anything, but it's a nice, probably $15, $20 book, and it just looks spectacular. The colors look sharp. That yellow is just sensational. You know what I'm talking about. The Near Mint Nerd loves his high condition comics. You know that. I don't show anything that's a beater. I don't like beaters. This one's getting some heat. Hulk, what number is this? 14? This is a variant cover. Red SheHulk, first appearance, I believe. This has been getting a little bit of love lately with SheHulk, just in general getting some love as she, as her TV show was announced at D23 this year, so that'll be coming in the next couple of years. And this was just a kind of a fun, weird run of the Hulk. I think it started with Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness was the artist. You know, he draws those big, chunky muscles. Ian Churchill is now on the book at this point in its life. And it's just a fun book. Nice book to have. Happy to have it. I should just mention, here, I'll put this one up as I talk, that most of the stuff you're seeing here, I buy. I don't like to pay a lot for comics. I'm kind of cheap that way. I find that if you really search it out and you're not looking for anything in particular, it's very easy to just find great dollar books, $2 books, $3 books. Hey, maybe a $5 book. That's pushing it for me. But, you know, I can find these things for cheap because I'm not after anything specific. When you go after something specific, sometimes you talk yourself into paying too much because you need it. Me, I'm like, eventually I'll stumble across it and I'll pick it up for dirt cheap. And that was the case with this. Not only, I have this. I have a couple of copies of this already. A beautiful Jeff Campbell cover. Just love it. But I never had one that was a newsstand before. And I wasn't looking for it. Didn't think I needed it. But when I saw it for $1 in a bin, you can be sure I grabbed it. Because this is probably a $10, $15 book without it being a newsstand. So having a newsstand copy of a 2000s era comic is never going to be a bad investment. Just such a beautiful comic. Speaking of newsstands, also found this Savage Dragon. I've been looking for this one. The early Image books, I have so many. I worked in a comic store, as I've mentioned before, in the early 90s in Winnipeg. Comic World, owned by Doug Xalapa. Great guy. You can do business with him online. He's got a warehouse in Steinbeck, Manitoba. But I did a lot of work for him at the time, and I was working for half cash, half credit, as a college student would be. And I have all this early 90s stuff in 5-10 copies of everything, because it was like the speculative market at the time. So I managed to get this one, which is a newsstand, which I had never seen before because, like I said, all my books were bought at the store through the direct market. So I've been looking for a Spawn with the barcode. I've been looking for a few others with the barcode. This one just fell in my lap. I think this was $2. They probably didn't know that it had the barcode. They might not even have cared because this is just a real common issue. It's only worth a couple of bucks, but with the barcode, might have a little bit of additional value. What else do we got here? Nothing super special here. Just a couple of early Green Lanterns. I'm putting this run together. Green Lantern between 100 and I think 225 was the final issue. I got most of it, so these were just a couple of fillers, a couple of dollar fillers. Nice books though, nice crisp books. Like I said, I only buy near mint if possible, but I'll go down as low as an 8 usually for these type of books, for the $1-2 range. But I won't buy anything less. Like, you know, I'm not an upgrader. I don't buy books to upgrade. I like to buy them in the condition that I want them. Both of these are probably 9s at least. Beautiful book. Just a fun title to this Green Lantern run. Great stuff. Another book that's not super special, but I needed it for my run of Spider-Woman. Trying to put the rest of this run together. This is number 2, 1978. This is before the direct market, so of course it's there is only the newsstand at this time. Early Bronze Age, not so early, but a little early Bronze Age. Spider-Woman. Let's see who's in this one. The Might of Excalibur. Interesting. Feel the awesome might of Excalibur. And is that Merlin down there? What is going on with Spider-Woman? But as the cover boasts, this is the second startling issue. A nice little find for $1. So these ones I'm about to show you, this is my current obsession. Nobody's looking for these, but when I find them, I buy them because they are so hard to find. And if you look for them, you're going to realize it's true. So these are old Warner Brothers Gold Key / Whitman comics, from the Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny and all that stuff. Beep Beep the Roadrunner was a long-running comic. This is actually the second run of it. I think the first one was through maybe Dell or something. But I found this. Just gorgeous. Look at that. You never find these in the wild. This is the Beep Beep Roadrunner number 90. To find it in this condition is just not something that happens very often. If you ever see a book like this for $1 or $2, you know what? Buy it. Buy it and send it to me because I love it. I love the Whitman variant. I love this run. These are the comics I grew up reading. I didn't grow up reading superheroes. I grew up reading Disney, Harvey, the Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera. Those are the comics that I grew up with. And I moved away from them, when I was about 13, I moved into superheroes. But I've always had a soft spot. I actually read these. I absolutely love these. And then I found another one. A nice early Bronze Age, Tweety and Sylvester. They don't even have the numbers on the cover. And I forgot to write the number on the back. But, so I'm not even actually sure what number this is. But, man, look at that. Look at that crisp cover. Look at that. Yeah, there's a little bit of schmaltz. The thing is, these ones are really hard to find in like 7, 8, 9 condition because, little kids got their greasy hands on them and that was that. These were for kids, So if you're in the wild and you see these, almost always they'll be in low condition. They'll be beaters. I'm always thrilled when I find that stuff. I'm going to have a whole haul of these because I recently came across a big stack of 15-20 centers from these old Gold Key / Whitman books. That's going to be a theme coming up. All right, I'm a Western guy. I love Westerns. It's my old soul, I guess. But got this old Charlton Billy the Kid. This is number 148. 60 center. It's a newsstand. These old Charlton books, they don't hold up well usually. They fall apart. Really cheap paper. But this one was in great condition. I actually love the Legend of Billy the Kid. It's one of my favorite Western heroes. I love the Young Guns movies. It's just one of those early stories that obviously William H. Bonney is a real person, but a lot of his exploits are kind of pumped up to the status of legend now. Dang, that's a nice comic. I've already got a copy of this. I have the full run of Mr. Miracle. I have 2 copies of number 1, first appearance. But as some of you may know, my all-time favorite character, you guessed it, Mr. Miracle. So, of course, I continue to buy them whenever I see them. And this one was a nice 35 center, number 20. It went away for a while, I think at around maybe 17. It just stopped for a few years because they were 12 centers, maybe 15 centers. Maybe it went up to 20. And then it took some time off, a couple years off, and then came back for the final 3 or 4 issues. And it's just a gorgeous cover. Look at that. There's a big Barda down there. Granny Goodness. Just wonderful. Wonderful comic. Another little Spider-Woman here with... I love... his name is Brother Grimm. So I love these characters, the Brothers Grimm. They're in a couple issues of Iron Man, a couple issues of Spider-Man. They're not huge villains. You're not going to see them in the new Spider-Man movie. But I always dug them. I like their name. I like that they're like these kind of twin guys that cooperate and work together. I don't know. Just like them. So whenever I see Brothers Grimm appearances, I grab them. There's not too many. Newsstand era again. So that's number 3. I showed you number 2 already. And there's number 3. Beautiful cover. Great condition. So I found this one for $3. Really happy to find this. I think a lot of people, when they see the $1 on the cover, they think it's kind of just a cheaper issue. But this series has a little bit of heat. I don't know if it's getting a TV show or what, but this is probably a $20 comic. This was kind of the last gasps of Vertigo in a way. Kind of one of the last families of Vertigo, families of titles. Jeff Lemire's Sweet Tooth. I think it ran around 20 issues. Great story to read. I don't know if they've released it yet as one trade. If they have, I highly recommend it. Great story. Great art. Just a lot of fun. 10-year-old book now, November 2009. It's a cool kind of post-apocalyptic concept. Love it. All right, what else we got here? A couple old Avengers comics. Always love to find these for a few bucks. This is 121. I think I got these in auction for maybe $2 or $3. Love these old 20 centers. Death Trap of Taurus. Love the Black Panther era when he was on the Avengers early on. Great lineup there. Vision, Thor, Scarlet Witch. You got your Iron Man. You got your Black Panther. Just a classic cover. All characters that are in the movies. Very cool. And then one more. If I have to pick an Avengers villain that is my favorite, it would have to be Kang. Just love Kang. I love time travel. I'm a real sucker for any story that involves time travel, especially when done right, which is kind of why I really dug Avengers Endgame. But so Kang is one of those guys that's always moving through time. It's like when Kang comes, you know you're going to be moving through time. If I was ever invited to write an Avengers story, you can be sure Kang would be the villain. Absolutely, 100%. And you can be sure they'd be traveling through different eras in time. That's what I'm all about. Oh, the swordsman. And who's that back there? Mantis. Is that Mantis? Yep, that's Mantis for sure. So, the only hero who's not represented in the Marvel Universe right now is Swordsman. I wonder if that will change soon. We'll see. What else? Shall I keep going? Yeah, why not? I got a nice little variant cover here for ScoobyDoo. Where are you? Number 47. The previews, convention, Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I don't know where I got this. I might have just picked it up out of a dollar bin, or I might have got it in an auction. I don't remember. But I know it's a recent purchase, and I know I didn't pay more than a couple of bucks, so... I love Scooby-Doo. I have a lot of the old Scooby-Doo comics. It's a long-running title. It's like, it gets up to 100 issues, 200 issues before it gets rebooted. I don't have a lot of them because I can't really justify buying ScoobyDoo every week or every month, but I do dig them. I do read them when I get my hands on them. Delicious coffee. I picked up this spectacular SpiderMan. This is number 231. Very cool Sal Buscema cover. This is a variant issue, I think. I don't think this is the regular cover. Let's check the barcode. Yep, this is a variant. You can tell by the barcode, which isn't clicking in here, which isn't there. You see the second last digit is a 2. That means it's a second cover, variant cover. Not much to say about it. Just a real cool classic cover, and from an era of a weird suit for Spider-Man. I don't like the feet of the costume being kind of half and half. Never really loved this costume, but it's a cool cover. Glad to have it. This one I love. Absolutely love this one. Harley Quinn and Power Girl, number 1. This is not a super common variant. Tricky to get. I think this has some value. I think, this is maybe a $10, $20 book for just that reason. Just a really interesting cover. SR. I'm not actually even sure who did it. Yeah, but it's cool. I love it. I love it. Really cool. I love this series. Really great series. It didn't last very long, maybe like 20 issues or something, but pretty cool team up. Another variant cover is Convergence number 1. This is the D cover. Capula is a design cover. This became one of the weird variant things they started doing. Not a super common variant, so it's got some value. I think I saw that was like, 15 or 20 bucks. But really cool nonetheless. These Convergence books, like the A covers, it was just a mess. Nobody really wants them. The only ones with any sort of upside are the variants. All right, so let's take a look. I got a couple of cover artists now. Just looking at some cool covers. Love this Adam Hughes cover. Betty and Veronica, number 275. Adam Hughes. What more do you need to say? I already have this one, but I saw it again for $1 and I couldn't resist. Keep going with the Adam Hughes. We got Tomb Raider in Ireland. Adam Hughes did a little run of Tomb Raider. Some great books. I have a couple of them. I have most of them, I think. A little harder to get now. A little starting to go up in price. These aren't the expensive ones. I don't know why, because kind of they should be, but they're getting there. This is getting harder and harder to find. Dr. Manhattan number 4. Beautiful cover. You can see the tears on her face. Very reminiscent of the Catwoman cover. That is probably his most sought after cover. Either that or the Wonder Woman cover. You guys know which one I'm talking about. Very reminiscent. But absolutely beautiful. Just gorgeous. Speaking of Catwoman, came across this for $2 in a bin. Why not, right? Catwoman 74. This is like, he did a run of about like 30 issues, and maybe 5 of them are like covers that have really taken off and are a little harder to find. This is one of them for obvious reasons, I think. Absolutely gorgeous. Oops, not the camera there. I love Dave Stevens, who was taken from us too soon. Creator of The Rocketeer, did this great Johnny Quest cover. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this guy can draw women. He was like, the J. Scott of his day. Just absolutely gorgeous cover. Nobody's looking for this one. This is one of those books that, shockingly, you can just easily find for $1 anywhere. I don't know how long that'll last because Dave Stevens is starting to get some recognition. It's a newsstand. Probably doesn't mean anything for this era, but just an absolutely gorgeous Dave Stevens cover. And since we're already talking about Dave Stevens, let's look at his... this is not a Dave Stevens cover. Obviously, this is an Alex Ross cover, but it's Dave Stevens' creation, The Rocketeer. And this is maybe one of my all-time favorite covers. I already own this book. I found another copy for $1. I own all the variant covers too. I love The Rocketeer. Huge Rocketeer fan. Love the movie. Love the character. And absolutely love this gorgeous Alex Ross. Wow. Hard pressed to find a better Alex Ross. And then one more Johnny Quest here. Just to go backwards. Johnny Quest number 6 is Adam Kubert. 1986. I like these old Adam Kuberts. Had a real... I mean, his style's come a long way, but, I really dig these old comics. Just awesome. Johnny Quest is not a title that has any sort of heat. But it was a real fun book. It was... I'm surprised it hasn't come around. Like, it seems like a great property for movies. Having said that, maybe I'll look into who owns the license. Maybe Johnny Quest is a show I should be pitching myself. We'll see. But here's another Alex Ross, another one of my favorite covers. Superman 683. It's a newsstand, a very nice newsstand. Like I say, anytime you're in the 2000s and you find a newsstand, you know they're getting rare, you should grab it. This is from 2009, 10 years ago. Very hard to find newsstands from that era. But I found this one, and it's a gorgeous Alex Ross, and I'm thrilled with it. And finally, Sensation Comics, featuring Wonder Woman number 4, another beautiful Adam Hughes cover. This one's got a little bit of heat. It's not... I don't think it's one of his best, female form covers, but, it's got some heat. Literally, the sun there over the clouds. But you can still find this one in the wild for, as I did, for a couple of bucks. If you're selling it on eBay, probably you can get $10-15 for it. But in the wild, they're still there. Get out there, hunt for it. All right, so now I'm going to just do some older comics. We're going to move into the Silver Age and early Bronze Age. Let's start with this one. It's just a fun novelty comic. Plop number 4, 20 center. This was kind of like Mad Magazine in comic form. A lot of the Mad Magazine guys, this is Basil Wolverton, who did a lot of work for Mad Magazine. This was the comic version of those old comedy magazines. These are so fun to read. Sergio Aragonés does a lot of stuff in them. Just good times. Good times will be had if you pick one of those up. Submariner number 51. I was never a huge Submariner fan. These books don't get me that excited, but when you find them for a couple bucks, you got to pick them up for sure, especially when they're in such great condition. This is in absolutely stunning condition. I wasn't going to let this go for $3-4, whatever I paid for it. But it doesn't excite me. Probably won't read it. It'll just be one of those ones, that I don't ever get to. Nice old 12-cent Daredevil. The Tri-Man Lives. I think I might have gone as high as 5 for this because it's a Daredevil under issue 25. A little older. This is, and it's not in, it's not in startlingly great condition. Might benefit from a press. It's probably about I would say this is like, a 6.5 maybe. I think 10 pages, it's, I don't know. I'm not a die-hard comic grader, but it sure presents well. And then I got this one, Daredevil number 91, Mr. Fear. I used to love this villain. Surprised this villain hasn't come back. I think he might have been killed off during the Frank Miller era. But I like these old comics, these old Daredevils. Another one that's in pretty good condition. I would give that like a 6.57. Looks pretty great. It's got a little bit of schmuck on it, but not so bad. Let's see. Oh, I've been trying to get these giant size and king size, these old annuals before they were called annuals. So I found this giant size Thor. Great price, great condition. These ones, because they're almost square bound, the staples always kind of poke through, and then the damage happens around the staples. Like you can see them poking through. There's just no way to prevent that. But man, other than that, these books. This is just a sensational looking book. I mean, I would call this a 7.5 minimum, probably higher. Probably more like an 8. And just, this reprints some early Thors. I would say, they kind of consider these annuals, I think. Same as this one. Oh, this one is an annual. King size annual number 1. Master of Kung Fu. Same deal. Probably around a 7. Presents really well. Black cover, looks sharp. Just Iron Fist is in it. Shang-Chi is in it. Just a real, well, of course, it's his title. But great double-sized martial arts issue. Love it. Love these things. Love old annuals. I'm going to do an annual theme. I probably should have saved these for that, but what are you going to do, right? I got overexcited. Nice old Hulk, another one. 131, 15 center versus Iron Man. Anytime you have like an old, two classic Titans going up against each other, it's a classic comic. Just love this cover. Beautiful cover. It's Herb Trimp, of course. Long time Hulk artist. Just looks amazing. Hold your fire, man. It's all over. The Hulk is dead. Well, guess what? He's not. Nice old Silver Age Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern number 18. I broke my rule about condition a little bit. This is, just because it's such an oldie and such an iconic cover. This is not super awesome. There's some damage around the staple there. But for a Silver Age book, it sure presents well, doesn't it? I would say, maybe 5.5, 6, maybe if I'm lucky. But oh cow, it's got this crease here. That's the biggest issue for me, is that crease and this little bit of a schmuck here. But this is just a classic cover. Love this Sinestro cover. Number 18, nice old comic, nice old Green Lantern. Who wouldn't want that for their collection? Almost done here, guys. Just a couple more. Nice 20-cent early bronze Flash. I'm trying to collect Flash from number 200 through 350, which was the last issue of the Barry Allen run before Wally West took over. Doing pretty good. Some of these older Bronze Age ones, are harder to get in really nice condition. This one's not too bad. It's got two spine issues here. Other than that, easily call this an 8. I mean, even with those, probably 7.5. Just looks awesome. Presents well. Has a Green Lantern backup issue story. Nice trickster cover. What more can you say about a great book like that? We got Tarzan of the Apes. This is number 207, but it's actually the first DC issue. This is when DC took over. Awesome Joe Kubert cover. Just absolutely beautiful. This one is in shockingly good condition. There's no flaws. My only question is the coloration just a little off? It looks a little flat. And I've been trying to find another comic to compare it to, but it's a hard issue to find. And I haven't been able to kind of put it side by side with another one. Until I do, I'm going to assume it is an absolutely perfect comic. It sure is. It sure does present well. Love this battle. Love these chimps in the background as Tarzan fights this monster monkey. Just amazing. Just awesome. I love reading these old Tarzans too. Great stories. We got this is Showcase number 82. This Showcase was the tryout title for a lot of new characters in DC. This issue's no different. It's the first appearance of Nightmaster, the Sword and Sorcery. who, what was that title called? It was the precursor to Justice League Dark. It had many of the same characters, and Nightmaster was the team leader. It was right before Flashpoint, and then New 52. I can't remember. Was it called Shadow Hunters or something like that? Blue Devil was in it. Detective Chimp was in it. Zatanna was in it. Great title. Just loved it. Nightmaster is a really cool character. I don't know if he has survived into the New 52 era and beyond. I'd have to look into that. But, he was definitely... It was Bill Willingham putting out that title alongside his long-running Fables title. I don't know what happened to Bill Willingham. I'd like to see him make a return. I always thought he was a pretty great writer. But, I haven't seen his name for a while. But until then, a beautiful, I would say, very fine plus copy of Showcase 82. All right, I'm going to kind of wrap it up, I think, with maybe I'll just show these last four. I don't want this video to get too long. So we got a nice old Justice League, number 68, classic cover. They meet the Chaos Maker. I love these old Silver Age villains who, have never come back again in the modern age. But I just love that. Look at those crazy angry faces. Just a classic issue. I love the yellow banner. This is, easily... this probably could benefit from a press. I think it's around a 7.5 right now. Probably could get to an 8.5 with a competent press. Just a beautiful cover. Gotta love it. A couple of older ones. One's in great condition, one not so much. So I'll show the not so much first because it's the older of the two. House of Secrets, 10-cent issue featuring a Mark Merlin mystery. The Man with the Alien Identity. This is just before the title eventually became an Eclipso title. It was still kind of an anthology title at this time. You can see there was someone signed a name at the top here, and then it looks like someone tried to either clean that name off or erase it, and it kind of took the top layer of color off the cover. That's the biggest flaw. The spine's a mess. I bet a press would help, but I'm not even going to press it because there's too many other problems with it. But it's a nice piece of history. Probably I don't know how many points you lose. Probably around a 3.5 because of that. But other than that, nice looking 10-cent book. Not ashamed at all to have that in my collection. And here's a more recent issue. Not recent to now, but more recent than the last issue. House of Secrets, number 92, I believe. 73. Number 73, 12-cent issue during the Eclipso era. You can see that. Battles the Sea Titan. I used to love, I love Eclipso, one of my favorite villains. Love that he came back for that big, I think Justice League storyline not too long ago. Really dig it. And this one is, it does still have a couple of little spine issues, but I would say this is at least in the 7s, if not higher. It just looks beautiful. Not bad for a 12-cent issue. And, I want to stress that I found a lot of these issues for under $5. People just getting rid of them or whatever. This one was only 2, but maybe there's a reason. Secret Six, number 2. Mockingbird commands you. In the more modern era, Mockingbird was Lex Luthor. I'm not sure who it was at this time. None of these are superhero characters, I don't think. I think this was just a team book at the time. Plunder the Pentagon. Now in the modern age, Gail Simone really took Secret Six to another level. Back then, it was just kind of a spy title, I think, or something. Never actually read it. You can see, along the top, it's a black cover that shows its age along the spine. It presents pretty well, but it is not This is not a near mint special, that's for sure. I would probably put this more at a 6, maybe. Which is why I probably was able to get it for cheap. But still a cool book to find in virtually a dollar bin. And final book I'm going to show you today. I paid a little more for this one. Broke my own rule when I saw it. But it was a nice compliment to some books I already have. It is All-Star Western number 11, which is the second appearance of Jonah Hex in absolutely beautiful condition. I paid $25 for it, and I don't regret it. It's a $200 book at least. Had to go back and forth a lot. Had to point out a lot of little flaws to get the price down. There is, a couple of spine issues. I think I could press those out in a heartbeat and get this up to probably an 8 or so, 8.5. It's pretty close to that already. I own All-Star Western, I think number 9, which is the first appearance of Jonah Hex. I have this CGC 9 of that I bought recently. And so this is his second appearance. And I also have Jonah Hex, his ongoing title number 1 as well, in I believe, 9 or 9.2 CGC as well. I have very few CGC titles. I'm not a big CGC guy. But if I find a really cool character first appearance who I love, I already mentioned how much I love Westerns. So, of course, Jonah Hex. I have the entire run of the original Jonah Hex series. I have the futuristic Hex as well. I have All-Star Western, the second title from DC Comics. And I have, the other Jonah Hex series that Jimmy Palmiotti did. Just pretty obsessed with Jonah Hex. I haven't seen the movie. I was I was a little too scared to go see the movie because I heard it was terrible. Maybe I'll watch it on streaming at one of these days, but it's kind of disappeared. Remember when there was a Jonah Hex movie a couple of years ago? Good luck finding it. It's not streaming anywhere, at least in Canada. But I love this comic. Love it. 52 pages for a quarter. So that means it was during the... probably the 15 cent, I would say 15 cent era. Just beautiful. It's got other Western characters, El Diablo, Batlash, Powwow Smith I'm not familiar with, but El Diablo and Batlash, of course, have had their own titles since, right up through the 2000s, I believe. Maybe not Batlash, but definitely El Diablo. There you go. I think that's it, guys. How long did I ramble? Maybe a little longer than I intended. Sorry for the long video, guys, but it's been a while and I just wanted to make my triumphant comeback. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to pass you back over to the other Near Mint Nerd now, and I will see you again. Bye now. Okay, well, that's it for this one. Sorry for the gorilla shoot. I didn't really plan it through, and I don't have my little tripod and all my little equipment and my light. Just really wanted to... I do have my new stand, though. Check that out. Pretty cool, right? Woo! But just wanted to check back in, make sure I don't leave you too long. Really want to start getting back into the weekly or bi-weekly videos. I know you guys are like, who's this guy? I know it's been a long time. Hoping to, pump them out a little bit faster. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Please hit subscribe if you can. If you like it, let me know. Leave a comment. Do all that fun stuff. And I'm going to see you next time. Near Mint Nerd saying adios.